What happens when the rarest personality type meets one of the most vibrant? On one side, you have the INFJ, deep, private, and always reading between the lines. They're the quiet architects of meaning, carrying whole worlds in their minds that most people will never see. On the other, you've got the ENFP, bold, spontaneous, and so full of energy it feels like they've bottled lightning. They're the dreamers who don't just think outside the box. They set the box on fire and dance around it. When these two collide, something magical, and sometimes chaotic, unfolds. It's a friendship, romance, or partnership that feels like a cosmic collision of intuition and energy. But here's the twist. Their differences can make them each other's greatest teachers, or their most frustrating mystery. So, how do they really get along? What makes them click? And what secret challenges lie beneath that magnetic connection? Let's dive in. If you're loving this kind of deep dive into personality pairings, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with your fellow MBTI fans. Your support keeps us exploring the fascinating dynamics between personalities. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The INFJ and ENFP couldn't be more different on the surface, yet underneath, they share a curious kinship. The INFJ, often called the advocate or the mystic, thrives in the realm of deep meaning. They're planners, visionaries, and quiet observers who process life like a painter studying a canvas before making the first stroke. Everything is intentional. Every word is considered. The ENFP, the campaigner or the inspirer, is the opposite in pace but not in purpose. They live in motion, ideas flying out of their minds like confetti at a parade. They don't just see possibilities, they chase them down, often laughing along the way. Where the INFJ sits in stillness, the ENFP dances in the storm. This contrast creates an irresistible push and pull. To the INFJ, the ENFP feels like sunlight breaking through their carefully constructed clouds, warm, unpredictable, and alive. To the ENFP, the INFJ feels like a hidden treasure chest, quiet on the outside, but holding something rare and beautiful inside. And here's the secret. Beneath their wildly different tempos, they both share a compass that points toward meaning and authenticity. That shared compass is the thread that will keep pulling them together. When an INFJ and ENFP first meet, it's like two worlds brushing past each other. One a calm, deep lake, the other a rushing, sparkling river. The ENFP spots the INFJ and senses something intriguing right away. They can't quite read them, and that's the hook. Most people wear their personalities like a billboard. The INFJ carries theirs like a secret garden behind a locked gate. The ENFP, being naturally curious and socially fearless, wants to find the key. The INFJ, on the other hand, notices the ENFP before the ENFP even realizes they're being observed. They see that spark in their eyes, the way they light up a conversation, and they think, here's someone who's not afraid to be themselves. But they're cautious. INFJs don't dive headfirst into new connections. They wade in slowly, testing the waters. At first, the INFJ might be quietly amused, even a little overwhelmed, by the ENFP's energy. Meanwhile, the ENFP might wonder why the INFJ doesn't jump in with the same enthusiasm. But that contrast? That's exactly what plants the seed of curiosity. Because when opposites meet, the question is never if they'll influence each other, but how. The attraction between an INFJ and an ENFP isn't always romantic, though it often can be, but it's almost always magnetic. Something in each of them recognizes the other as different in the best possible way. For the INFJ, the ENFP's world is full of colors they didn't even know existed. ENFPs can turn a dull Tuesday afternoon into an adventure, pulling the INFJ out of their head and into the moment. They're spontaneous, endlessly curious, and somehow manage to make even the smallest things feel like a story worth telling. For the ENFP, the INFJ is a rare find in a world full of surface-level connections. They sense that behind the INFJ's calm, composed exterior lies a mind that runs deep, someone who won't just listen, but understand. The INFJ's quiet insight is like gravity for the ENFP's wandering thoughts, grounding them without clipping their wings. It's this balance, excitement meeting stability, wildness meeting wisdom, that creates the irresistible pull. They may not even fully understand why they keep seeking each other's company. They just know that when they're together, the world feels a little more alive, and conversations stretch effortlessly into the night. Here's where the magic really clicks. Both the INFJ and ENFP are intuitive types. In MBTI terms, that little N in their code means they process the world through patterns, symbols, and possibilities, rather than just hard facts. This shared trait creates a kind of mental shorthand between them. An ENFP can start talking about a wild new idea. Maybe it's a book concept, a business plan, or an off-the-wall theory about why people behave the way they do. And the INFJ doesn't just get it. They add layers to it, connecting dots the ENFP didn't even know were there. Similarly, the INFJ can bring up a deep, abstract thought, something most people would dismiss as too much. And the ENFP leans in, eyes bright, eager to explore it with them. No eye rolls. No, you're overthinking it, just shared enthusiasm. Their conversations often jump timelines and topics, leaping from the past to the future, from what-if scenarios to life's biggest questions. And they're both comfortable leaving some things unanswered, because for them, the joy is in the exploration, not just the conclusion. It's in these moments they realize, we speak the same language, even if our accents are different. When it comes to emotions, INFJs and ENFPs are playing the same song, but in different keys. The INFJ feels deeply, but their emotions are like an underground river, steady, powerful, and hidden from view. They process feelings internally, often taking time to sort through them before speaking. To the INFJ, emotions are sacred spaces, not something to toss around casually. The ENFP, on the other hand, wears their emotions like a favorite jacket, bold, visible, and unapologetic. They laugh loudly, cry openly, and aren't afraid to show what's in their heart at any given moment. To them, feelings are meant to be shared, celebrated, and lived out loud. This difference can be both beautiful and tricky. The ENFP can help the INFJ express themselves more freely, showing them that vulnerability doesn't always mean losing control. In turn, the INFJ can teach the ENFP the value of slowing down and reflecting, giving emotions the space to breathe before reacting. When they sync up, their emotional connection can be electric. Deep conversations, mutual support, and a sense of safety that's rare to find. But if they miss each other's rhythm, misunderstandings can creep in, leaving one feeling unheard and the other feeling overwhelmed. When an INFJ and an ENFP truly click, they become a force of nature, the kind of pairing that can dream big and make those dreams happen. The INFJ brings strategy, foresight, and a long-term vision. They can see the bigger picture and anticipate challenges before they arise. While others may get caught up in the moment, the INFJ quietly maps out the road ahead, making sure their shared goals aren't just exciting ideas, but achievable ones. The ENFP brings energy, adaptability, and the courage to take bold leaps. They inspire the INFJ to break out of their perfectionist bubble and just go for it. Where the INFJ hesitates, the ENFP jumps in with both feet, and sometimes that's exactly what's needed to move forward. Together, they balance each other's extremes. The INFJ keeps the ENFP grounded when their enthusiasm threatens to scatter in 100 directions. The ENFP reminds the INFJ that not every step needs to be overplanned, that some of life's best moments come from pure spontaneity. It's a push and pull dynamic that, when healthy, becomes a cycle of inspiration and stability. They don't just dream together, they grow together. For all their chemistry, the INFJ-ENFP dynamic isn't without its rough edges. In fact, their very differences, the ones that make them so magnetic, can also create some of their biggest challenges. The ENFP's spontaneity, for example, can thrill the INFJ until it becomes unpredictability. INFJs like to have a plan, or at least a sense of where things are headed. When the ENFP changes direction on a whim, canceling plans, starting a dozen projects without finishing them, the INFJ can feel unanchored or even dismissed. On the flip side, the INFJ's need for structure and depth can feel stifling to an ENFP who thrives on freedom. If the INFJ becomes too serious, too inward, or overly critical of an ENFP's messy way of doing things, the ENFP might pull away to protect their sense of independence. Communication style can also cause friction. ENFPs tend to think out loud, processing feelings in real time. INFJs process internally, speaking only after they've carefully chosen their words. This mismatch can lead to moments where the ENFP feels shut out and the INFJ feels overwhelmed. The key? Recognizing that friction isn't failure. It's a sign there's more to understand about each other. If there's one thing that makes the INFJ-ENFP bond worth every bump in the road, it's this. They pull each other toward growth in ways no one else can. The INFJ's steady, thoughtful nature challenges the ENFP to slow down and look deeper. ENFPs may be masters of chasing possibilities, but the INFJ helps them refine those ideas, separating the passing whims from the visions worth building. With the INFJ's guidance, the ENFP learns the beauty of commitment and the power of seeing something through to the end. In return, the ENFP brings the INFJ out of their carefully guarded inner world. They encourage them to take risks, embrace the unknown, and see that not every decision has to be perfect to be worthwhile. The ENFP's boldness helps the INFJ discover new sides of themselves, the ones that crave adventure and unexpected joy. Even in conflict, these two types can transform tension into transformation. When they choose patience over frustration, they become mirrors for each other's blind spots. It's not always comfortable, but that's the point. Growth rarely is. And together, they stretch each other toward the best versions of themselves. The INFJ-ENFP dynamic isn't just theory. You can spot it in some fascinating real-world pairings. While MBTI types aren't always public knowledge, certain relationships in history, media, and entertainment show patterns that mirror this unique connection. Take the friendship between Carl Jung, often typed as INFJ, and Sigmund Freud, commonly typed as ENFP. Jung brought depth, structure, and a visionary framework to psychology, while Freud brought bold, provocative ideas, and an energetic drive to challenge societal norms. Their partnership was both intensely creative and occasionally tumultuous, a classic INFJ-ENFP blend. In fiction, think of Frodo, INFJ, and Pippin, ENFP, from The Lord of the Rings. Frodo is focused, deliberate, and burdened with a mission, while Pippin's charm, curiosity, and playful spirit balance the heaviness of the journey. Even in modern pop culture, you'll see interviews where a reserved, thoughtful celebrity pairs up with a vibrant, quick-talking co-star, and the chemistry is unmistakable. The INFJ listens, the ENFP entertains, and both shine brighter together. These examples remind us that while no two pairings are identical, the INFJ-ENFP connection has a distinct rhythm, part harmony, part improvisation. That's hard to ignore. When an INFJ and ENFP commit to understanding each other, their bond can feel unshakable. It's not built on constant agreement, far from it, but on a deep respect for what the other brings to the table. The INFJ offers a safe harbor for the ENFP's whirlwind life, a place where their dreams can land and take root. They provide grounding without dulling the spark. The ENFP, in turn, keeps the INFJ's world alive with movement and possibility, reminding them that life isn't just about the plan, it's about the moments that take your breath away along the way. Lasting connection between these two isn't automatic. It takes patience, honest communication, and a willingness to meet in the middle. The INFJ must learn to embrace the ENFP's unpredictability as part of their magic, while the ENFP must respect the INFJ's need for stability and depth. When they succeed, the relationship becomes more than just a meeting of personalities. It becomes a living, breathing reminder that opposites don't just attract, they can elevate each other. Together, they prove that balance isn't about being the same. It's about bringing your whole self and letting the other do the same. At the end of the day, the INFJ-ENFP connection isn't just about compatibility. It's about transformation. These two types meet as opposites, learn as partners, and, if they're lucky, grow into the kind of friends or lovers who bring out the absolute best in each other. It's a dance of depth and energy, structure and freedom, reflection and action. They challenge each other's comfort zones, shine light on each other's blind spots, and create a shared world where dreams don't just live in conversation. They take shape in reality. So whether you're an INFJ wondering why that bubbly, unpredictable ENFP has you hooked, or an ENFP trying to crack the mystery of your quiet, profound INFJ friend, remember this: your connection is rare and worth nurturing. If you enjoyed exploring this pairing, hit the like button, subscribe for more MBTI deep dives, and share this with that one friend who always seems to be your opposite, but somehow feels like home. And stick around, because our next video will explore another unlikely but fascinating personality duo that just might surprise you.